TA2, powered by AEM Infinity, came back to Watkins Glen International, and as always, it was a fantastic race. Weather seemed to be the story of the weekend for TA2. Hurricane Irma kept a lot of competitors at home, and every time TA2 was on the track for qualifying or practice, it seemed to be raining. So teams and drivers had very little information to set up these cars on the tricky Watkins Glen circuit. But race day Saturday afternoon, the track was clear and dry, and nobody knew how their cars were set up for the race. Jason Hart and his Stevens Miller Racing Dodge grabbed pole position, and we knew this would be a great start to watch. Jason Hart had a great start and was able to keep the consistently fastest guys like Dylan McIvern, Cameron Lawrence, Gar Robinson, Tony Buffamante, and Shane Lewis in his mirror. Lap 2, Jason pulled ahead a little of Shane Lewis as Dylan McIvern and Harry Steenbacker did a little rubbing down the main straight as Tony Buffamante tried to use this to his advantage. Jason Hart was super fast in his SpeedLogic's Dodge Challenger, but Gar Robinson was consistently posting the fastest laps as he passed by Tom Sheehan in turn 1. But in the fourth lap, Gar Robinson drifted through turn 10 and backed the car into the wall just before 11, putting him way back in the field with trouble restarting the car. The always fast Dylan McIvern, lap after lap, started to close in on Jason Hart. Then 10 laps into this 30-lap, 102-mile race, Jason came up on lap traffic, and Dylan pounced with the textbook over-under in turn 1 and seemed to just take off up the Essex. It was a close race with Ford, Dodge, Chevy, Ford representing the front four, all within a tenth of a second from each other. Keith Prochuk and LP Montour had to come in with difficulties, as it looked like it was going to be Dylan McIvern's day. And Jason does a great job of just keeping Dylan in sight and Shane and Tony in his mirror. As we wait for the leaders to come around 11, we see Dylan McIvern coming into the pits. Dylan has to retire in first place with some heavy vibration issues, as two legendary sports car drivers point these muscle cars into turn 1, not giving each other an inch. But you can't count out Cameron Lawrence and Gar Robinson, who are back but steadily posting the fastest lap. Here is Cameron. Here is Gar giving Tom a run to turn 2. Now Cameron Lawrence has the leaders in sight and seems to be gaining on them about a second a lap. With about 14 laps left, Go Shane Go seems to have this race taken care of as Tony and Jason battle for second. Knowing Tony, he is just sitting behind Jason, learning everything he can so that he can make the least risky pass on Jason. Tony is methodically moving up the championship points on Gar and needs as many points as he can get in this race. With about 10 to go, Jason Hart starts to fall back with some fuel starvation issues, as it looks like it's going to be a race between Shane Lewis and Tony Buffamante. Shane is now getting slowed by some lap traffic, giving Tony, Jason, and now Cameron Lawrence a chance to catch up the Essex. With about 7 to go, everything looks good for Shane. But no, he loses it on turn 1. And this is going to bring out a full course caution. Shane seems to be okay as the cars bunch up. Cameron and Gar have to know they have the fastest cars in the field, and they have to be ecstatic to see a full course caution come out. The time and the laps tick down, and it looks like we will have a restart with 5 laps to go. We have Ford, Dodge, Chevy, with the last 3 TA2 champions in the top 4. Tony gets a great start as he holds off Jason into turn 1. with Cameron and Gar doing anything they can up to S's to improve their position. Gar forces Cameron out wide into one and takes the position. Gar is noticeably the fastest car on the track, even with his body. Tony knows it's his race to lose, but Gar is doing everything he can to get by Jason. On the last lap, Tony cautiously takes turn one as Gar overtakes Jason, who's struggling with a fuel starvation issue, allowing Cameron Lawrence to take third position. Tony Buffamane finishes first, Gar Robinson second, and Cameron Lawrence, our last three TA2 champions, in order on the podium at Watkins Glen.
This is, I was just saying, this is a bit of hallowed ground for us. Watkins Glen's our home track. My dad grew up here. There's a couple that you circle on the calendar every year, Indy being one, Watkins Glen being the other one for us. So happy for Mike Hope Racing, Travis, everybody working so hard, thinking about you and your families down in Florida with everything that's going on down there. So sorry you couldn't be here, Mike, but drove a pretty good one. We bounced off Dylan there, three wide going into one, and I think I knocked the toe out of it a little bit, but a little more power was fantastic. This is a high-speed track. Willwood brakes made the thing stop, and best line. You know, it's just that time of year. You know, we're never in the car. We don't do any off-season testing. We don't do any season testing in between races. So when these races start getting close together, every 2 weeks, every month or so, I get a little bit back in the groove, and we're having fun.
Guys set up a really nice car today. It sucks that I messed it up at the beginning of the race, but it happens to the best of us, I guess. But no, the guys set up a really nice car, and just patience helped. I feel really bad for my teammate Shane. I know he fought pretty hard the whole race, and it was a lot of fun at Watkins Glen, my favorite track, and looking forward to coming back.
It was good. You know, we got lucky. We had a good qualifying yesterday to start third. There were definitely some fast cars behind us, and we didn't have a short run car, so it kind of fell back at the start. But just like you said, kind of stayed in there, laid down some really good laps once temperatures and pressures came up, just to stay in the hunt. And we had a caution, and the misfortune of others, you know, put us on the podium again. So this is our third good run in a row. So these guys are definitely working their butts off to get the car towards the front.